I wanted to get into the idea of being busy. That was one of my favorite recent videos that you did. It was a short on TikTok, and you
Mm.
broke down the Japanese word for busy into two words, and I would love for you to get into that for the audience.
With the specifically the busy.
Yes.
Okay, so the busy in Japanese, well, it's actually originally China because it's a Chinese alphabet. But it's two different alphabet that basically becoming the one single alphabet represent busy. And then when you break it down into two words, basically, the one means heart and the other one means nothing. So if you break down the word mean busy, then you can read two letters as you lose your heart. And all the Chinese alphabet actually have a story behind or the reason that how it shaped and how it became that word. I mean, it's very beautiful, by the way. So, like a lot of people actually know this in Japan, but when we are too busy with work or in your head tasks, we forget the most important thing, which is just to being present in the moment, right? And a lot of marriage are failing because of not looking into the partner's eyes and have a quality time with the family. I think a lot of our bad patterns and toxic behaviors or some projection or manifestation of limiting beliefs showing up in a family matters quite strongly. And I'm not going to put myself onto someone else, but I'm also still working on the, the part with my own parents and all that. It can be very, very challenging. But I always remind myself that whenever you're busy, there's going to be a moment that you regret the fact that you didn't do something about it when you knew that like you could do something about it. And
Hmm.
there's actually a comment on that specific video which I broke down the busy. I believe it was a guy, and this comment goes, I totally understand this because I had my dad called me and I was too busy to pick it up, but the next day he was gone. And that was I just like just accidentally found that comment because that video had a lot of comment, but and it just it shocked me.
Hmm.
Like I think we are too arrogant to say that that's not going to happen to me.
Hmm.
Oh those like crazy worst experience not going to happen to me. I think that if you say that, I think we're too arrogant because
Hmm.
anything can happen in the future. Like in 1 second ahead is the future. Anything can happen, right? And I think I took that comment very seriously. So and always, I think it's just what we can do is to remind ourselves to take that action rather than not taking action and regret later because everything's happening in this present moment. So
Yeah, it's a really powerful video, and that comment is really devastating. There's this photo I saw, and it was kind of like a cartoon, and it was one of those things that passes through time. So it has like four different blocks. And in the first block, it's a small child looking up at his dad, and he's like, "Play with me." And the dad's like, "Not right now, I'm busy." And then it's a older child, and he's like, "Come here, dad." And he's like, "Not right now, I'm busy." And it's like the dad working or trying to do something. And then it's a grown man, and he's asking for his father. And it's, "Not right now, I'm busy." And then the last square is the dad who's in a wheelchair, and he's very old, and he's asking for his son. And his son said, "Not right now, dad, I'm busy." And I say that, and it like makes me so emotional just thinking about it because it's like, especially with kids, it's like, how often do we get in these places where we are not exercising free will, where we are just the rat on the wheel and we're just going after this thing we don't even know why, and we're missing the whole reason. Like everyone is searching for purpose. Like, what is my purpose? What is my meaning? And it's like that is what it is. It's presence. That's it. Like it is just to be, it is just presence. It's whatever is in the
Yeah.
now because that's all that there is. And those moments that you're just swatting them away and you assume arrogantly that they're going to be there tomorrow or even in 10 minutes, it can be devastating, just like that comment. So it's radical honesty within yourself and where you're allowing your time and how many no's you're giving to the people that you love in your life versus how many yeses, including yourself.
Yeah. Wow, that was so powerful. That really, that's exactly what the relationship looks like between my mother, me and my mother. Because like she was very busy, but she was working and working, working to become independent and to make me happy and trying to keep my future like protected and all that. But I feel like now I'm in that phase, so I'm like, okay, I'm really busy, and then I literally saw that myself, like, oh, it's the situation flipped. Like it used to be different. I used to the one that's like I was kind of kid that like understood. I wanted to just support my mom, whatever she's doing, even though she was always too busy to listen to me. So like, oh yeah, like whatever I say, she's not gonna listen, or she thinks she's listening, but she's not. So she will ask the same question like twice or three times, and that really flipped it, right? And now I'm in the kind of like a similar situation that she was before, and being able to see myself, that the fact that I'm in a similar situation, which means that she is experiencing the exact same emotional experience that I did, that I was. And now I think my free will needs to make a different decision. But if I put myself in this autopilot pattern, and I think that I lose my power, which is the free will that we circle back to the conversation. But yeah, it was wow, it was very powerful, very it made me emotional.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to find that artwork to throw in here because when you see it too, like the visualization is just like it's so heartbreaking and
Yeah,
how easy it is to get trapped in there, especially when you have a culture that idolizes being busy, right? Some people I've seen post their calendar schedule, like their iCalendar, and they'll have all the dots, and it's like every day I'm doing something. And I'm like, the fact that you think that's beautiful, it hurts my heart because that's yeah, I think you're missing a lot of the beauty of like spontaneity and serendipity and presence when you're doing something like that. Like you're forecasting 3 months out and you're like, that's success. And I'm like, I'm not so sure. I'm not very convinced. And it leads me to the extremity of what that is, which is karoshi, right? So literally working yourself to death. And in Japan, there was like an epidemic of it where the men would just be dying on the subway, like in their suits. They would just be
yeah,
on their way to work and just not wake up. And that's what being busy or being so disconnected from your heart is going to do. And if you think that that extra dollar, $100 or whatever that number is going to be somehow more valuable to your family than you coming home, then you are truly lost because there's always another way to like create an income or to, take care of your financial needs, but there's only one of you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it can be very extreme if you don't snap out of it, if you don't do that pattern interrupt.
yeah, and then especially that when it comes to the Japanese culture in working. The reason why, like, I lived in Netherlands, Amsterdam, Netherlands, for 3 years, and I was really shocked, and I've learned a lot of great things from the working culture and how the government works, and just they go home at 6 p.m. and they don't do no work. They just open the wine and start drinking and chilling at the canal and stuff like that. But I think because the Japan represent, and I think the country makes people believe that this is the default. So I think if you have the collective belief, then it becomes moral. And if
Mhm.
you break the moral, if you break that common sense, then you're going to be a bad guy, right? Like
Mhm.
everyone has to follow. And then Japanese people are very like we are we are people who just love following the rules.
Mhm.
And I think that comes from the respect too, that we have a
Mhm.
massive respect to others. And I think we should have more respect to ourselves, but that's where we are at the moment. And so that if everyone else believes that, yeah, you have to work hard and you have to like kill yourself like with the amount of tasks and just go home and like sleep and come back. Like if the country like force everyone to believe, then everything else outside of the belief is weird, is not normal. So I think the what I've experienced in Netherlands was country has collective belief that hey, you work this amount of time and then you should be treated well and you pay tax. And then if you pay taxes, we are happy.
Mhm.
I think that's very fair and very rational. But Japan is different. We don't have that like the collective belief the country provides us to believe. So just whatever you have to eat, whatever you're on the table. And it's very heartbreaking though, like so that company takes advantage of the people, right? Like it's
Mhm.
easy because oh yeah, everybody believes this and you have to work hard and like, you have to basically just waste your entire life working and working, working. And the company every company that exists in Japan is if they're not prioritizing their health and some sort of some level of vacations and some level of like physical and mental health on the people who's working for their company. I think they're just absolutely taking advantage on people because
Mhm.
knowing that they have the country have the collective beliefs and that Japanese people have massive respect to other people, which is very sad.